So let me show you this just for a second. This is the bees at the entrance of their hive. And interestingly enough, this is not the hive from the last episode. This is actually an expansion hive that occurred after the creation of the last video. And this activity seems to be the worker bees getting ready for, or the worker bees possibly getting ready to support the queens, the new queens made in flight. So the other hive is the middle hive, is that one right there. And you'll see also, if I can do it, there's bees on that board as well. So let me talk you through this just for a second so you have some understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay, these are the two hives in use. The third hive is still empty. We have named the hives, not the queens, because I think that's goofy. But we have named the hives cleverly middle hive, near hive, and far hive. And it's as in relation to the house. So no matter where we're standing, that's the far hive. That's the middle hive, of course, and that's the near hive, the one that is currently empty. So to talk, yeah, I haven't shaved. Sorry, I'll do that. So to talk you through this, after we did the inspection on the last that we filmed in the last episode, I was talking with Kimberly in the living room, and I thought, well, it's an awful shame to have a dwindling number of bees, no evidence of a queen, and multiple frames with queen cells on them. So I decided, kind of unilaterally, not really, Kimberly was supporting me in this, said what we really ought to do is make a split, because the bees are already in duress, and they're saying, well, the split would cause stress, and it would stress out the bees. Well, they were already stressed. They were already queenless. So I was like, all I'm doing is making them stressed and smaller. So we went into the hive, we split the resources, we split the empty frames and the brood boxes. About 50% of the bees came to the far hive because I'm sorry, let me explain. 50% of the bees and about 65% of the resources available went to the split, the far hive, because the middle hive had all the foragers. So in the middle of the day, all the foragers would be out foraging, and when they return home at night, they won't have any knowledge that a split has occurred. So they will just go into the middle hive, and they'll look around and realize, okay, something has changed, but ultimately their job has not changed and their location hasn't changed. So because the far hive didn't have foragers, I gave them more resources. The idea was they have to sustain themselves until they're old enough to fly. So what they got was emerged adult, but young, adult bees, mostly on nursing and house duties. So they had to learn to fly over the last 10 to 20 days. So actually it wasn't 20, it's I think exactly 11, but I could be wrong. Part of their normal life cycle. So this is, I'll show you again, this is more activity than we see usually. We normally see them active 2 or 3 bees at a time, not more than 5 outside the front entrance at any given time. So the fact that there's so much activity in front of the hive right now, and there's no new bees in there, and we know there's no new bees because there's no queen, then the only thing that could really be driving them up like this would be preparing the queen for her maiden flight, which she's in the emergence window of the queen cell we gave her right now. And it could have been as early as 6 days ago, and it could be as late as, I want to say, 7 days from now, being that she stays capped for 16 days before she emerges. Once she emerges, she's supposed to take as much time as she needs, up to 2 weeks, to get herself prepared for the flight. And then, of course, the flight occurs, and she comes back, hopefully mated, and then starts laying eggs. This activity to me means I am perhaps 2 weeks away, maybe 3, from seeing evidence of a laying queen in the hive. So when we go back and inspect, and I don't know when that will be quite yet, but when we do, we will expect to see some activity of an available and laying queen, eggs, larvae, so on and so forth. with this number of flying bees, we might actually see more resources as well. They should be collecting on their own because they will have consumed a great amount of the resources that I gave them. That they collect first anyway. It's theirs. So, hopefully this won't generate more questions than I can answer, but I'll do what I can if you have any. So please let me know any questions. This isn't the real episode, so I'm not concerned about the whole YouTube number of views or blah blah blah. It's just questions if you have them. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And from now on, we have hives, not hive. 2 active hives in the yard, going to 3 eventually.